The Miami night was alive with the hum of Coconut Grove, palm trees swaying in the humid breeze, distant reggaeton pulsing from a nearby bar. Alex Cruz, 32, stood in the kitchen of his cozy condo, stirring a pot of arroz con pollo, the aroma of saffron and garlic filling the air. Tonight was special. His wife, Sophia, had just landed a promotion at Coastal Elite Realty, and Alex wanted to surprise her with her favorite Cuban dish. He checked his watch, 6:45 p.m. She'd be home any minute. Alex, a cybersecurity analyst, was used to solving problems. At work, he untangled network vulnerabilities with precision, but tonight, his focus was on Sophia. They'd been married 5 years, the kind of couple who still danced salsa on weekends and dreamed of a house on Key Biscayne with space for kids. Their life wasn't flashy, but it was theirs, built on trust, laughter, and shared goals. The front door clicked open. Sophia, 30, stepped inside, her heels clicking on the tile. Alex grinned, ready to pull her into a celebratory hug, but her face stopped him cold. Her usual spark was gone, replaced by a tight-lipped smile and eyes that wouldn't meet his. She dropped her purse on the counter and sank into a chair. "Smells amazing," she said, her voice flat. "You didn't have to cook." "It's a big day," Alex replied, setting a plate in front of her. "Team lead, Saf." "That's huge." She nodded, poking at the rice. "Yeah, it's great." Alex frowned. Sophia was never this quiet. At their first date, years ago at a little Havana cafe, she talked nonstop about her dream to help families find homes. Her passion had drawn him in, her energy infectious. Now, she seemed like a stranger. "What's wrong?" he asked, sitting across from her. "Nothing," she said too quickly. "Just tired. Long day." He didn't buy it. Sophia thrived on chaos, open houses, picky clients, tight deadlines. Something was off. As they ate in near silence, her phone buzzed on the counter. She flinched, then grabbed it, angling the screen away from him. Alex caught a glimpse of the sender's name, Carlos Vega. Her new boss. "Work stuff?" he asked, keeping his tone light. "Yeah," she muttered, typing a quick reply before locking the phone. "Just follow up on a deal." But her hands trembled as she set the phone down. Alex's gut twisted. He wasn't the jealous type, but Sophia's sudden secrecy set off alarms. He pushed the thought aside. She'd tell him when she was ready. She always did. Later, as they washed dishes side by side, her phone buzzed again. Sophia ignored it, scrubbing a plate with unnecessary force. Alex dried his hands and casually picked up her phone to hand it to her. The screen lit up with a new message from Carlos. "Where's something nice tomorrow? We need to talk." His stomach dropped. The words weren't outright damning, but the late hour, 9:17 p.m., and the tone felt wrong. He handed her the phone, watching her reaction. Sophia's face paled, and she shoved the phone into her pocket without a word. "Saf, what's going on?" he pressed, his voice low but firm. "It's nothing," she snapped, then softened. "I'm sorry. It's just. Carlos has high expectations. I'm still adjusting." "High expectations don't include texting you at night," Alex said, stepping closer. "Talk to me." She hesitated, her eyes darting to the floor. Then, in a rush, it spilled out. "He's been intense. Comments about my work, standing too close in meetings. Tonight, he texted about a private meeting tomorrow. I don't know what he wants, but it doesn't feel right." Alex's jaw tightened. Carlos Vega, Coastal Elite's new sales director, had a reputation, smooth-talking, connected, untouchable. Alex had met him once at a company happy hour, all slick smiles and expensive cologne, calling everyone amigo, while his eyes lingered too long on Sophia. Now, the pieces clicked. "How long has this been going on?" Alex asked, struggling to keep his voice steady. "A few weeks," she admitted. "I thought I could handle it. I didn't want to worry you." "Worry me?" He took her hands, her fingers cold in his. "Saf, you don't have to deal with this alone. We're a team." Her eyes welled up. "I love my job, Alex. I worked so hard for this promotion. But Carlos, he's hinted that my performance isn't enough. That I need to show commitment to keep my place." Alex's blood ran hot. Commitment? What's that supposed to mean? She shook her head, voice breaking. He hasn't said it outright, but I think he's implying something more. If I don't play along, I could lose everything. The room felt smaller, the air thick with rage. Alex pulled her into his arms, her body tense against his. You're not losing anything, he said fiercely. We're going to fix this. That night, as Sophia slept fitfully beside him, Alex lay awake, staring at the ceiling. His mind raced, piecing together a plan. Confronting Carlos directly was too risky. Guys like him thrived on power, not reason. No, they needed evidence. Something undeniable. As a cybersecurity expert, Alex knew how to dig for truth without leaving a trace. By morning, he had an idea. Over coffee, he laid it out. Start recording him. Your phone has a voice memo app. Keep it running during meetings. Save every text, email, anything he sends. We need proof he can't talk his way out of. Sophia nodded, her jaw set. I can do that. But what if he's careful? What if I can't get anything solid? Then we find another way, Alex said. Guys like Carlos always slip up eventually. As Sophia left for work, Alex opened his laptop. He wasn't just going to wait. Carlos Vega had a digital footprint, emails, schedules, maybe even complaints buried in the company's servers. Alex's job gave him the skills to navigate systems undetected. If Sophia couldn't get the evidence, he would. By noon, he'd access Coastal Elite's employee portal using a backdoor he'd once helped patch for a client. It wasn't strictly legal, but protecting Sophia was worth the risk. He found Carlos's profile, promoted 6 months ago, glowing performance reviews, no formal complaints. But there were whispers in old email threads, vague references to concerns about his management style, quickly dismissed. Alex's pulse quickened. This wasn't just about Sophia. Carlos had a pattern. He closed the laptop, heart pounding. The fight was just beginning, but Alex was ready. Carlos Vega thought he could intimidate Sophia into silence. He was about to learn what happened when you crossed the wrong couple. The Miami sun beat down as Sophia Cruz stepped into Coastal Elite Realty's sleek office, her phone tucked in her pocket, voice recorder app running. Her heart raced, but she kept her expression neutral, nodding at colleagues as she headed to her desk. Last night's confession to Alex had lifted a weight, but the dread lingered. Carlos Vega, her boss, was a predator cloaked in charisma, and today, she'd start building the case to take him down. Sophia's plan was simple but nerve-wracking. Document everything. Every suggestive comment, every lingering glance, every text. Alex had installed a better recording app on her phone, one that activated automatically when Carlos called or texted. She'd also started a journal, noting dates, times, and details of his behavior. It felt like arming herself for battle, but the stakes, her career, her peace of mind, kept her focused. At 10 a.m., Carlos summoned her to his office for a performance check-in. Sophia took a deep breath, hit record, and walked in. He leaned back in his chair, all easy confidence, gesturing for her to sit. Sophia, you're doing solid work, he said, his tone smooth but edged. But solid isn't enough. I need team players who go the extra mile. You get me? She nodded, her throat tight. I'm committed to the team, Carlos. His smile didn't reach his eyes. Good. Let's discuss your numbers over dinner tonight. My treat. Somewhere private, like the new spot in South Beach. Sophia's stomach churned. I have plans tonight, she said firmly. We can review my numbers here. His jaw twitched, but he shrugged. Suit yourself? Just don't be surprised if your next evaluation reflects your priorities. He stood, brushing past her too closely as he opened the door. The recorder caught it all. His words, the implication, the subtle threat. Back at her desk, Sophia texted Alex, got something. Not explicit, but close. She sent him the audio file, her hands shaking. It wasn't enough to nail Carlos, but it was a start. Meanwhile, Alex was digging deeper from his home office. His cybersecurity skills gave him an edge, but hacking into Coastal Elite's servers was a calculated risk. He'd already found hints of complaints against Carlos. Vague emails about management concerns, that went nowhere. Now, he needed something concrete. Using a VPN to mask his activity, Alex accessed the company's internal messaging system. He searched for Carlos's name, filtering through months of data. A pattern emerged: 3 female employees had flagged issues with Carlos's leadership style in the past year. One mentioned uncomfortable meetings, another referenced inappropriate suggestions. All were dismissed as misunderstandings, with HR citing lack of evidence. Alex's fists clenched. The system was protecting Carlos, but he wasn't untouchable. That evening, Sophia came home drained, her usual energy sapped. Alex met her at the door, pulling her into a hug. "You okay?" he asked, searching her face. "He's escalating," she said, voice low. "He changed our team meeting to a bar in Brickell tomorrow night. Said it's casual, but I know what he's doing. He's testing me." Alex's jaw tightened. "Don't go alone. Record everything. And I'm coming with you." Sophia hesitated. "If he sees you, he'll know we're onto him. Then I'll stay out of sight," Alex said. "But I'm not letting you face him alone." The next night, the Brickell bar was packed, neon lights flashing over a crowd of young professionals. Sophia sat with her team, her phone discreetly recording as Carlos dominated the conversation, his arm draped casually over her chair. Alex watched from a corner booth, sipping a soda, his eyes locked on Carlos. When Carlos leaned in, whispering something that made Sophia stiffen, Alex's grip tightened on his glass. He couldn't hear the words, but Sophia's quick glance toward him said enough. Later, in their condo, they listened to the recording. Carlos's voice was clear. "You're special, Sophia. I could fast-track your career if you show me you're flexible. My villa in Key Biscayne is free this weekend. Just us, no pressure." The implication was unmistakable, tied directly to her job. "That's it," Alex said, his voice shaking with anger. "We've got him." "It's still my word against his," Sophia said, pacing. "He's careful. He'll say it was a misunderstanding, and HR's in his pocket." Alex shook his head. "Not if we get more. I found complaints from other employees. He's done this before. We just need to connect the dots." Over the next week, Sophia kept recording, capturing more of Carlos's veiled threats and suggestive comments. She noted every incident in her journal, the time he blocked her exit from the copy room, asking about her personal life, the urgent late-night texts about non-existent client issues. Each moment chipped away at her confidence, but she refused to break. Alex, meanwhile, dug deeper into Carlos's digital trail. He found an encrypted folder on the company's server labeled personal. Cracking it took hours, but inside were emails, flirtatious exchanges with the former employee who'd left abruptly. The employee, Maria, had hinted at harassment before signing an NDA. Alex tracked Maria down on social media. She agreed to meet at a quiet cafe in Coral Gables. Over coffee, she confirmed Carlos's pattern: promises of promotions, late-night meetings, pressure to comply. "I quit because I couldn't take it," Maria said. "They paid me to stay quiet. You need to be careful, he's connected." Back home, Alex shared Maria's story with Sophia. "We have enough to go to HR," he said. "Your recordings, my findings, Maria's account, it's a pattern." Sophia shook her head. "HR won't touch him. The regional manager's his buddy. We need someone higher. Someone who can't ignore this." Alex paused, an idea forming. What about his wife? Elena Vega's a big-shot attorney. If she knew. Sophia's eyes widened. That's risky. What if she sides with him? Then we send it anonymously, Alex said. She deserves to know, and it might be our best shot. That night, Alex compiled the evidence: Sophia's recordings, his email findings, Maria's statement. He created a burner email and drafted a message to Elena, keeping it vague but urgent. Your husband's behavior at Coastal Elite is hurting people. Listen to the attached files. He hesitated, then hit send. The die was cast. As they lay in bed, Sophia's hand found his. What if this backfires? She whispered. It won't, Alex said, squeezing her hand. We're not just fighting for us anymore. The Miami skyline glittered under a starless night as Alex and Sophia Cruz arrived at Coastal Elite Realty's annual gala, held at a sleek rooftop venue in downtown Brickell. The air buzzed with chatter and clinking glasses, but for Sophia, every step felt like walking into a lion's den. Her phone, tucked in her purse, held recordings that could end Carlos Vega's reign of intimidation. Alex, at her side, scanned the crowd, his cybersecurity instincts on high alert. Tonight, their plan to expose Carlos would either succeed or unravel. Sophia had spent the week gathering more evidence, every veiled threat, every accidental brush of Carlos's hand during meetings, meticulously documented. Her journal now held pages of timestamps and quotes, backed by audio files. Alex had dug deeper into Carlos's digital trail, uncovering deleted emails where he'd pressured another employee into private discussions. The evidence was damning, but they knew Coastal Elite's HR would bury it to protect their star director. That's why they'd sent the files to Elena Vega, Carlos's wife, via an anonymous email 3 days ago. Now they waited for the fallout. At the gala, Sophia mingled with colleagues, forcing smiles while her stomach churned. Carlos was in his element, working the room with handshakes and slick compliments. When his eyes met Sophia's, he gave a knowing nod, as if they shared a secret. She gripped Alex's hand under the table, her pulse racing. "He's watching me," she whispered. "Stay calm," Alex murmured, his eyes tracking Carlos. "If Elena got the email, she'll act. She's here tonight." Elena Vega, a prominent attorney with a seat on Coastal Elite's board, stood across the room, her posture rigid as she spoke with the CEO, Javier Ruiz. Alex had researched her, sharp, calculating, and fiercely independent, with no patience for disloyalty. If anyone could shake Carlos's untouchable status, it was her. As the evening progressed, Carlos approached Sophia's table, his smile predatory. "Sophia, a word?" he said, gesturing toward a quiet corner. Alex tensed, but Sophia nodded, slipping her phone into her pocket, recorder on. Alex watched from a distance, ready to intervene if needed. In the corner, Carlos leaned close, his voice low. "You've been distant lately," he said. "My offer still stands, Key Biscayne, this weekend. Show me you're a team player, and I'll make sure your promotion sticks." Sophia's voice was steady, though her heart pounded. "My work speaks for itself, Carlos. I don't need private meetings to prove my value." His smile faltered. "Don't play hard to get. You know how this works." Before Sophia could respond, a hush fell over the room. Elena Vega stood at the center of the rooftop, holding a microphone, her expression like steel. "Ladies and gentlemen," she began, her voice cutting through the crowd. "I have something to share." Alex and Sophia exchanged a glance, their breath catching. Elena raised her phone, and the speakers crackled to life with Carlos's voice, unmistakable, damning. "My villa in Key Biscayne is free this weekend. Just us, no pressure." Gasps rippled through the crowd. Sophia's recording, sent anonymously, was now playing for all to hear. Carlos froze, his face straining of color. "That's out of context!" he shouted, stepping toward Elena. "This is a setup." Elena didn't flinch. "Is it?" she said, her tone icy. She played another clip, this one from Sophia's latest recording. "Show me you're a team player, and I'll make sure your promotion sticks." The crowd murmured, heads turning toward Carlos. Javier Ruiz, the CEO, stepped forward, his face grim. "Carlos, my office." "No," Javier said, his voice leaving no room for argument. Carlos stammered, pointing at Sophia. "She's lying! She's trying to sabotage me." Sophia stood tall, her voice clear. "I'm not the only one. Check your HR files. There are others." The room erupted in whispers. Elena turned to Javier. "I sent you additional evidence this morning, emails, complaints, NDAs. This isn't isolated. It's a pattern." Javier nodded, his jaw tight. "Security, escort Mr. Vega out. He's suspended, effective immediately, pending investigation." As security approached, Carlos's composure cracked. He lunged toward Sophia, but Alex was faster, stepping between them. "Back off," Alex said, his voice low and firm. Carlos glared but backed down as security flanked him, leading him toward the exit. The crowd parted, some staring in shock, others whispering in vindication. Sophia's legs shook as she leaned into Alex. "It worked," she whispered, her voice a mix of relief and disbelief. "Not over yet," Alex said, his eyes on Elena, who was now speaking quietly with Javier. "But we're close." As the gala resumed, colleagues approached Sophia, some offering support, others sharing their own stories about Carlos. 2 women admitted they'd faced similar pressure but feared speaking out. Sophia listened, her resolve hardening. This wasn't just about her anymore. Later, in the parking lot, Alex and Sophia sat in their car, processing the night. "What if they protect him?" Sophia asked. "Javier's under pressure to keep sales up. Carlos brought in big clients." Alex shook his head. "Elena's not letting this go. She's got too much at stake, her reputation, her board seat. And we've got the evidence to back her up." Sophia nodded, but worry lingered in her eyes. "I just want this to be over. I want to feel safe at work again." "You will," Alex said, starting the engine. "We're not stopping until you do." That night, Alex checked his burner email. A new message from Elena waited. "Thank you. I've been waiting for a reason to act. This ends now." Attached was a draft of a legal complaint she planned to file against Carlos, citing harassment and breach of ethics. She'd kept Sophia's name out, honoring the anonymous tip. Alex showed Sophia the email. "She's going after him," he said. "Not just at Coastal Elite, legally." Sophia exhaled, a flicker of hope in her eyes. "What about us? What if they trace the email back to you?" "I covered my tracks," Alex said, though a pang of guilt hit him. His hacking wasn't exactly legal, and if exposed, it could cost him his job. But seeing Sophia's strength, her refusal to be silenced, made it worth the risk. The next morning, Sophia went to work, her head high despite the whispers. Carlos's office was locked, his nameplate gone. A memo from Javier circulated, announcing an external audit of HR practices. For the first time in weeks, Sophia felt a glimmer of safety. But Alex knew the fight wasn't over. Carlos's connections ran deep, and powerful men didn't go down easily. They needed to stay sharp, ready for whatever came next. The Miami morning was heavy with humidity as Sophia Cruz walked into Coastal Elite Realty, her steps lighter but her nerves still raw. A week had passed since the gala where Elena Vega exposed her husband Carlos's harassment, his voice echoing through the rooftop venue in damning recordings. Carlos was gone, suspended, his office cleared out, but the fallout lingered like a storm cloud. Sophia clutched her phone, now free of Carlos's late-night texts, but she braced for what came next. Alex, her husband, waited at home, combing through digital traces to ensure their anonymous tip to Elena couldn't be linked back to them. At the office, tension hung thick. Colleagues whispered in break rooms, glancing at Sophia. Some offered quiet support. Others avoided her, unsure if she'd spark the chaos. An email from CEO Javier Ruiz announced a full investigation into Carlos's conduct, led by an external firm. Sophia's recordings, shared anonymously via Elena, had triggered a domino effect. 2 more women had come forward with complaints, their stories mirroring Sophia's, suggestive comments, pressure tied to job security, meetings that felt like traps. The news should have felt like victory, but Sophia's stomach twisted. What if the company circled the wagons to protect its image? At home, Alex was wrestling with his own fears. His hacking into Coastal Elite's servers had uncovered Carlos's pattern of behavior, deleted emails, hushed-up complaints, but it wasn't legal. If anyone traced the breach to him, he could lose his cybersecurity job, maybe worse. He'd covered his tracks with encrypted VPNs and burner accounts, but doubt gnawed at him. Had he missed something? He checked his laptop again, finding no signs of detection. Still, he couldn't shake the guilt of bending his principles, even if it was to protect Sophia. "Soph, how was work?" Alex asked when she got home, his voice steady despite his racing thoughts. "Quiet," she said, dropping her bag. "Everyone's on edge. HR called me in today." Alex's heart skipped. "What did they want?" "They asked about Carlos. Wanted to know if I'd experienced anything unusual. I played dumb, said I'd heard rumors but had nothing concrete. They didn't push, but I could tell they're fishing." Alex nodded, relieved. Good. Stick to that. We can't let them connect us to Elena's evidence. Sophia sank onto the couch, rubbing her temples. I hate this. I just want to do my job, not play spy. What if they figure out it was us? They won't, Alex said, sitting beside her. Elena's keeping your name out of it. She's got her own reasons to bury Carlos. Elena Vega was moving fast. Through a mutual contact, Alex learned she'd filed for divorce the day after the gala, citing infidelity and professional misconduct. Her legal complaint leaned heavily on Sophia's recordings and the emails Alex had pulled, though she presented them as anonymously sourced. Elena's position on Coastal Elite's board gave her leverage, and she wasn't holding back. Rumor had it she'd demanded Javier fire Carlos outright or face a public lawsuit that could tank the company's reputation. Days later, Sophia got a call from Maria, the former employee who'd quit after Carlos's pressure. They're auditing everything, Maria said over coffee at a Wynwood cafe. HR scrambling. They ignored my complaints last year, but now they're calling me back, asking for details. It's because of you, isn't it? Sophia shook her head. Not just me. Others spoke up too. Maria's eyes softened. You're braver than I was. I signed their NDA and ran. You stayed and fought. Sophia managed a small smile. I had help. Back home, Alex was digging again, this time into Carlos's connections. He found a troubling link. Coastal Elite's regional manager, a close ally of Carlos, had been copied on emails dismissing past complaints. If Javier was serious about cleaning house, he'd need to confront the rot within his own ranks. Alex hesitated, then sent another anonymous tip to Elena, flagging the manager's involvement. It was a risk, but silence wasn't an option. A week later, the hammer dropped. Javier announced Carlos's termination, citing violations of company policy. The regional manager was quietly reassigned to a smaller office in Orlando, a clear demotion. Sophia's team got a new director, Camila Torres, a no-nonsense veteran known for mentoring young agents. For the first time in months, Sophia felt a flicker of safety at work. She threw herself into her new role as team lead, closing deals with her old fire. But the victory was bittersweet. Sophia noticed the toll on her colleagues. Some women who'd stayed silent now carried guilt, while others feared retaliation for speaking out. At home, Alex grappled with his own fallout. His hacking had helped expose Carlos, but it left him questioning his ethics. I crossed a line, he admitted to Sophia one night, staring at his laptop. What if I'd been caught? I could have dragged us both down. Sophia took his hand. You did what you had to. We both did. Carlos was the one breaking the rules, not us. Her words eased his guilt, but not entirely. Alex vowed to stay on the right side of the law from now on, focusing on supporting Sophia's fight the legal way. They started researching workplace harassment laws, looking for ways to help others without resorting to risky tactics. Meanwhile, word spread about Carlos's downfall. Industry gossip painted him as a pariah, struggling to land clients at a low-tier firm in Fort Lauderdale. Elena, now thriving as a single woman, had taken full control of their shared assets, including their Key Biscayne villa. She sent a discreet email to Sophia through a mutual contact. Thank you for the truth. It set me free. Sophia showed Alex the message, her eyes bright. We did this together, she said. Not just for me, but for everyone he hurt. Alex nodded, but his mind was already on the bigger picture. Carlos was gone, but the system that shielded him, HR cover-ups, ignored complaints, was still intact. He thought of Maria, of the women at the gala, of the stories still untold. This isn't over, he said. We need to make sure this doesn't happen again. Sophia agreed. Let's do something. Something real. That night, they sketched out an idea, a platform to help workplace harassment victims share resources, find legal aid, and report anonymously. They'd call it Safe Work Miami, a beacon for those trapped in silence. It was a small step, but it felt right, a way to turn their pain into purpose. As they worked, Sophia's phone buzzed with a news alert. Coastal Elite had settled with 2 former employees who'd filed claims against Carlos, avoiding a public trial. The company promised reforms, but Alex and Sophia knew better than to trust corporate promises. They had their evidence, their resolve, and each other. The fight for justice was far from over, but they were ready for what came next. The Miami sunset painted the sky orange as Alex and Sophia Cruz sat on their condo balcony, the distant hum of Coconut Grove traffic blending with the clink of their wine glasses. It had been 3 months since Carlos Vega's downfall at Coastal Elite Realty, his harassment exposed in a public reckoning at the company gala. Sophia, now thriving as team lead, had regained her spark, closing deals with confidence under her new manager, Camila Torres. Alex, back to his cybersecurity work, felt the weight of his secret hacking begin to lift. But the scars of their fight remained, driving them to ensure no one else suffered in silence. Their victory over Carlos had come at a cost. Sophia had faced weeks of scrutiny at work, her colleagues' whispers and HR's probing questions testing her resolve. Alex wrestled with guilt over his illegal server breach, though it had helped uncover Carlos's pattern of misconduct. The anonymous tip to Elena Vega, Carlos's now ex-wife, had sparked a chain reaction: his firing, her divorce, and a company-wide audit. But Alex and Sophia knew the system: HR cover-ups, ignored complaints, still protected predators. They wanted more than personal justice, they wanted change. The idea for SafeWork Miami was born over late-night talks, fueled by Sophia's determination and Alex's tech expertise. They launched a website within weeks, a platform where workplace harassment victims could share stories anonymously, access legal resources, and connect with pro bono attorneys. Sophia handled outreach, contacting local advocacy groups, while Alex built a secure backend to protect user data. Their first online meeting drew dozens, men and women from real estate, tech, hospitality, all with stories of power abused and voices silenced. One evening, Sophia got a call from Maria, the former Coastal Elite employee who'd quit after Carlos's pressure. "I joined your platform," Maria said, her voice steady. "I shared my story, anonymously, but it felt good. Others are talking too. You're making a difference." Sophia smiled, glancing at Alex across the room, his laptop open as he debugged the site. "It's not just us," she said. "It's everyone who's speaking up." Maria paused. "I heard Carlos is selling cars now, some lot in Hialeah. No one in real estate will touch him." Sophia relayed the news to Alex, who nodded unsurprised. Industry gossip painted Carlos as a shadow of his former self, his reputation shredded after Elena's divorce filing and Coastal Elite's settlements with 2 other victims. Elena had emerged stronger, her art gallery thriving and her board seat secure. She'd sent Alex and Sophia a bottle of wine with a note for courage. "Keep fighting." It sat unopened on their counter, a reminder of their shared victory. But not everything was resolved. Coastal Elite's promised reforms, new HR policies, mandatory training, felt like lip service to Sophia. She'd overheard colleagues say the company settled to avoid bad press, not to fix the culture. One day, a new email from HR landed in her inbox, requesting feedback on workplace environment. Sophia stared at it, then forwarded it to Alex. "They're covering their tracks," she said. "They want to look good without doing the work." Alex agreed. "That's why SafeWork matters. It's outside their control. We're giving people a voice they can't bury." Their first in-person SafeWork meeting, hosted at a community center in Wynwood, drew a crowd of 30. Sophia spoke first, sharing her story without naming Carlos, her voice steady as she described the fear and fight to be heard. Alex watched, proud, as attendees nodded, some wiping tears. A young woman from a tech startup shared her own experience, her hands shaking but her resolve firm. An older man, a hotel manager, admitted he'd stayed silent about a predatory boss to keep his job. The room buzzed with shared pain and purpose. After the meeting, a woman approached Sophia. "I'm Daniela," she said. "I worked with Carlos years ago at another firm. He did the same thing to me. Your platform gave me the courage to file a formal complaint." Sophia hugged her, a lump in her throat. This was why they'd fought, not just for themselves, but for everyone. Alex, meanwhile, connected with a local journalist through SafeWorks network. The reporter was investigating workplace harassment in Miami's real estate scene and wanted data from their platform, anonymized to protect users. Alex hesitated. Sharing even anonymized data felt risky after his hacking scare, but Sophia convinced him. "This is how we change things," she said. "Not by hiding, but by shining a light." The article, published a month later, cited SafeWork Miami as a grassroots force exposing systemic failures. It didn't name Coastal Elite but hinted at prominent firms, with buried complaints. The story went viral locally, boosting SafeWork's reach. Donations poured in, enough to hire a part-time lawyer to help victims navigate claims. Sophia and Alex celebrated quietly, grilling arepas on their balcony and toasting to a future where no one had to endure what they did. But challenges lingered. Sophia noticed tension at work. Some colleagues resented the spotlight on Coastal Elite, blaming her indirectly for the scrutiny. One warned her to watch her back with upper management. Alex, meanwhile, got a cryptic email from an unknown sender. "Careful what you dig up." It was likely a bluff, but it rattled him. He double-checked his digital tracks, finding no leaks, but the warning lingered. One night, Sophia came home late, her face lit with excitement. "Camila promoted me to senior team lead," she said, pulling Alex into a dance across the living room. "She said my work's been stellar, and the clients love me." Alex grinned, spinning her. "That's my girl. You earned this." As they swayed to a salsa beat, Sophia's phone buzzed. She glanced at it, then froze. "It's from Elena," she said, showing Alex the message. "Carlos is suing Coastal Elite, claiming wrongful termination. Stay sharp." Attached was a legal filing, vague but aggressive, alleging the company fabricated evidence to oust him. Alex's jaw tightened. "He's desperate. He's got no case, not with your recordings, Maria's story, and Elena's evidence." Sophia nodded, but worry crept into her eyes. "What if he comes after us?" "Then we fight," Alex said, pulling her close. "We've got the truth, and we're not alone anymore." SafeWork Miami grew, its meetings now packed, its platform a lifeline for dozens. Sophia and Alex took turns moderating, their bond stronger for it. They'd faced down a predator, exposed a broken system, and built something lasting. As they stood on their balcony that night, the Miami skyline glowing, Sophia raised her glass. "To us," she said. "And to everyone who's finding their voice." Alex clinked his glass against hers. "To justice. However it comes."